Alright, so just outside trying to get these fans situated on the Elko. Remember last time I had it out, pretty much weren't sitting into place. And I thought there was a little ridge on the bottom of here, but I guess there's not. Just pretty much catch the inside of that lip. So what I might do is just drill a couple holes and either run some of these U-clips on there and put a bolt on there. So have the bolt stick out a little bit so it'll catch on there. Or I could, well, that won't really work. Run a bolt or something through here with the U-clip, but then I still have to do something with here. So yeah, I might just run probably a bolt or two on each side and just have to stick out a little bit so it'll give it something to catch on that little lip right there. So I'll do that real quick. And then also eventually going to need to replace the gearbox. I think talk to a buddy, and with the LS power steering pump, I think it's too much pressure for the G-body one, so I'll probably get a rebuilt unit, just probably from the Monte Carlo or something, with a little bit different steering ratio. But at the same time, I'll look at getting, I believe they call it a flow control valve, so it'll slow down the pressure a little bit, or just reduce the pressure a little bit in the lines, so the gearbox isn't getting as much pressure coming out off of the steering pump. So I'll look into that. I think it's about a $25–30 part. You know, either just go in here or off of the power steering lines. So look into that. And then think about painting the trim for the windshield, but it's supposed to rain and then it's real windy out, so I might try to do that next couple days, get that painted and put it on there, and then just come out here and mess with the Monte a little bit. I think I'm gonna start measuring a lot of stuff for the fuel lines and start getting that cut to length. Still waiting on my fittings to come in. I know when I ordered them, some of them were back ordered a little bit, just the color combinations I wanted. So just waiting on those. I should be here later this month, well, within a week or two. So yeah, get those started, and then when I do the window trim, I'm gonna clean these up and paint these headlight bezels or brackets. But I was out here last night and I was holding them up along with the intercooler. I know it's a little messy around here, but I was holding them up, and what I realized is once they're in place, this end's supposed to bolt to the airbox, which if I'm going to use the intercooler, I probably won't be able to run the airbox. If I do, I might chop it up, so the mounting points are different from it. And I grabbed these off that Grand Prix in the junkyard, so these are too short for the Monte Carlo. If I were to mount them there and try to have those mounted on the side, these are a little too short, so I'm about to figure something out with mounting the headlights with the intercooler and start working on mounting the intercooler also. So just little stuff like that. Nothing too much really planned out today, just going with the flow. But yeah, let me get back to these fans, knock the fans out, then I'll cut you guys back on when I'm on to the next part. Alright, so got the fans all mounted up, so they shouldn't be backing out anytime soon. Might be a little play in there, but there's not enough room for it to actually back out. These are just Intrepid fans. I picked them up from a buddy. So not too fancy, but they work. Good fitment. I also went in and had a piece of rubber here before, but I took it out and just cut some weather stripping so the radiator wasn't hitting the header. So just got some, I think it's windshield wiper hose or just some regular hose. Took a razor blade, cut it down the middle, and wrapped it around little contact points so it wasn't metal on metal. But all this is it's back in. Now time to just figure out what I want to do in there. Oh yeah, and went ahead and ordered some stuff for this. It should be here within a week or so. I know I mentioned the fittings. It's not the fittings. It's a whole bunch of wiring stuff. So might have ordered the wiring harness. I might have ordered the Terminator X. I might have ordered both of them, but it should be here within a week or two. So yeah, not looking forward to the wiring, but from what I see, G-Body Warren, and he did his video, and I think Life of the Ikes, or Life with the Ikes, he did his. I'll do mine, but I'll probably go over a little bit more. Probably not as in depth as G-Body Warren, but I'll go over it. And I know one person mentioned on the Elko asking about the electric fans, how I wire those up. I'll go over those too. I didn't forget about you. I'll go over those. But yeah, like I said, it's this month. It's pretty pricey month for me, but I decided to go ahead and just order everything and try to get it knocked out. All right, so decided to come out and mess with the intercooler a little bit, trying to figure out the position on it and everything. And I'll still have to do some modifications to this piping right here. But I decided to put the airbox in it, and I think I should be able to run with the airbox. This one's not in the best condition, but I'm gonna make it work. Put the headlights on there just to see how those lined up to the mounting points on the airbox. So those should be all right. It's just zip tight on there for now. I will eventually probably have to get a pretty big circular saw or hole saw and cut in the airbox. Probably just 2 big circles. One right around there. Another one probably right around that dusty section. So yeah, that's probably going to be the plan. And then the airbox will sit right, or the intercooler will sit right in the airbox. Hopefully, once it's cut. But hopefully it should just sit right in there. And that should be good. But my problem was making sure, you guys haven't seen the front nose in a while, but just making sure everything lined up with the headlights and everything. So I'll just mock it up there. Just pretty dusty. It's been sitting in the office for, I don't know, since I painted it. So it's a little dusty, but I'm gonna throw it up there and then try to figure out some mounting locations, or how I'm gonna do brackets for the intercooler. Mark where I'll probably have to drill the holes out, and then we'll go from there. But I think now, I just like I mentioned, I might have ordered some wiring for this thing and the fitting, so it's gonna come together once everything comes in. I'll probably really get serious on it and try to button everything up and get a first start up, and I plan on having it out at least once or twice this year, do a few shakedown runs and see how it's going. But let me not throw it on, but mock it up, and we'll see how it goes. I think I still need the parking lights at the bottom, so I'll just mock it up and cut you guys back on, give you guys a look at it with the intercooler behind it, the airbox, and the headlight brackets. The headlights, I think I showed you guys the headlights I'm going to run. They're inside in the box. I could grab those later and just either mock them up or put them in there and see how it's going to look once everything's together. But and put this down, throw the nose on there, and I'll cut you guys back on. Yes, there's a sight I haven't seen in a long time. And one I've never seen yet. It fully painted with the hood down. So obviously not everything's lined up. I still have to adjust everything once it's fully installed. I have the brackets for the nose, I guess the metal brackets to mount them. Have those in the trunk right now, but it looks pretty good. I think once the headlights get in there, and then I believe they're the parking lights. So once all those get in there, should be looking good. But there are a little bit of flaws in the bodywork, I know. I need to sand this down right here so it stops scratching it. And then the brackets up underneath, I need to bend those a little bit to straighten that side out. But yeah, it's gonna look good. Yeah, close that gap up and it should be good. The only thing I'm a little worried about, I mentioned before, I might have to do hood latches. And I'll show you guys why. That's that bracket, like I said, it's bent up, and I should have bent it back before I painted it, but I think if I heat it up a little bit and then just slowly bend it, it should be okay. If not, I'll just hit it with some touch-up paint. But with the hood latch, well, not the hood latch, the catch that goes right here, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to run that center brace that usually goes on these things with the intercooler being there. So the intercooler will be, like I said, about there. There's a center brace that the hook goes onto. I don't think I'll be able to run, so I'll see once everything's installed and make sure to not close it. Well, closing it should be a problem. Just don't throw that latch on there and we'll see. But without that latch, I don't want to just trust this one to hold the hood on. So if I do hood pins, theoretically I could get rid of this completely, but we'll see. And at the same time, I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to fill in these gaps right here and here, because I think the cover here just covers where the airbox goes. So yeah, might have to get a piece of sheet metal or something. And one of my buddies already suggests on just dimple dyeing it to make it look nice. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I just want to see how everything fit together. And for the most part, I'm happy with it. I think everything should be good. Need to get the new alternator, need to get the new starter. This video is probably not turning into anything, just messing around in the garage. But it's gonna look good. I'm gonna go grab the lights. I won't install them, but I might mock up one side. I'm gonna go grab the lights and I'll cut you guys back on. Alright, so that's a little bit better look than that. But yeah, those are headlights I'm going with. I'm not sure if they're switched around or high beam, low beam, high beam. I'm not sure, but those are the ones I'm gonna go with. I think these bezels might need a little bit of trimming to get them to fit, but they should work. But yeah, it's gonna look good. So the first time seeing it in the nose, but yeah, once everything's adjusted with a few of the body lines lining up a little bit more, it's gonna look real good. But that's it. Like I said, I'm gonna mark some holes for drilling the airbox. I'll get those drilled, and I think I just have to modify a few of the intercooler piping, and should be able to work on some mounts for the intercooler, get everything mounted up so I can get the nose officially mounted and go from there. But I'm pretty sure I have the brackets for it. Yeah, so those are the brackets to mount the nose to it. I have the fender extensions, and I'm still debating if I want to paint this bottom part black, do like a satin black, or just wrap it. Still need to install the front spoiler, or I think that's what they call it. A little piece that goes on the bottom. But yeah, it's slowly getting there. But yeah, those headlights are gonna look good in there. I know some people have mixed emotions if you're supposed to paint around the headlights and the grille black or color match it. A lot of people lean to just painting them black. I think I'm gonna leave it white for now. Later on, if I get tired of it, I'd go in and paint all that black. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. I say if it's a true SS, I probably would paint them black right away, but it's not, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, like I said, they're just set in there. They'll tuck in a lot more, but for now, just mock-up purposes, I want to see what it's looking like. But yeah, let me find the position for all this stuff and maybe mark some holes. I don't have a bit large enough right now to cut that out, but that's probably what, 3 inches. So I might do a little bit larger just to give it some wiggle room in there. Then these top mounts might just have some brackets coming off of these 2 holes, or maybe the outer 2, or make a little V for more support. I'm not sure yet, but I have that top piece sitting around somewhere. I know that's a 6.0. It's not in as good a shape as I thought, but eventually I'll tear into that and let you guys know what I find, because that might be the replacement for this 4.8 once I blow it up with too much boost. But is that the right way? I think so. Let me put this down. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. This brace right here is supposed to be pretty much under, or in between the airbox and this top piece. So yeah, when you close the hood, that latch is what catches there. But with the intercooler there, I'm not gonna be able to use this as it is unless I don't know. I could probably chop some of it and drill some holes up here for these mounting locations, and then that back one might have enough room to mount it depending on where the intercooler sits. So I probably could, in theory, just use this section. But yeah, all this isn't gonna work with the intercooler there. So we'll see what happens. And at the same time, this whole piece it's not the prettiest. I got it used and thought it was gonna be in a little bit better condition, but you can see all this is messed up. This is supposed to be closed up right here, and I believe this whole tab right here is missing, so I'd have to modify this a little bit to get it to work, and then find something to cover up this area. So might talk to my buddy and see about using his dimple die set and probably getting a piece of sheet metal and just closing that all up in and painting that black. But that's just it. I'm just out in the garage thinking out loud, trying to plan ahead, waiting on parts to come in, like the adapters for all the fittings for all the AN lines, waiting for all those to come in before I button up that. I think the only thing I have left to order are my fuel injectors. So once I decide on what fuel injectors, I think I'm gonna run 80 pounds just for the power goals I'm looking for, and then I don't want to overdo it, but then I don't plan on running 85 right now. I think I'm just going to run pump gas on it. So I believe 91 out here, so that's why I'm leaning more towards the 80s. I don't think I need to go up higher, but I think even with the 80s and E85, it'll still be within range for one of the little calculators I found online to see what size injectors you need for what power range and everything and what fuel type. So I think I'm gonna run 80 pound injectors. So yeah, it's just little stuff, just thinking out loud. So not much has gotten done in this video, just talking out loud and seeing what I'm gonna have to do eventually in certain areas. So like I said, waiting on some wiring to show up, waiting on my AN fittings, and then need to hit up my buddy about the header and figure out some mounts for the intercooler. But I think overall it's coming together. It's coming together. But I know Grind School just threw up a video, so I'm gonna cut this off, cut the TV on, and see what he's doing over in his garage. But yeah, it's looking good. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be, it's getting there. It's getting there. I also need to get my emblem. So yeah,